Hello, am I through to the Information Commissioner's office in London? Hello, I wonder if you can give me some advice. It's about the Department of Work and Pensions demanding years and years of bank statements from vulnerable disabled claimants and threatening to suspend their claims if they don't provide it. And by the way, we're talking about all transactional data, not just income and capital. So many of you have been in contact with me about the Department of Work and Pensions forcing you to give unredacted bank statements, and you want me to tell you whether or not they can do this, and if you've given those bank statements to them and your driving license, and some of you your actual online banking passwords, what should you be doing about this? Well, first of all, I'm so pleased that my letter from Justice Writer Pro and my good self has been really useful for some of you. And I'm going to let you all know that today I actually phoned the Information Commissioner's office in London for a further update on what you guys and girls should be doing. Is this lawful, and the steps that you can take? So I'm going to tell you exactly what they have told me. Now, it appears from what you have all been communicating to me that the premise, the reason that has been used to gain your bank statements from you is a universal credit review. So, like all good researchers and commentators, I went and looked up their policy to see if it had changed much since when I worked there. So firstly, putting every single person under a universal credit review, which is what it seems to be like at the moment, I would say is rather questionable. But they are entitled to review your universal credit claim. Of course they can. But the documentation by which they're requesting to do that with may be something a little bit different. So, as it says here, if your universal credit is reviewed, they go through this very long list of documents, and it does say send some documents, have a phone appointment, and then here we've got during the review, your universal credit will only be stopped if one of the following applies. You do not provide the documents. You do not attend your telephone appointment. You're not eligible for universal credit. You're being paid, the review might find you're being paid too much, etc., etc. And it does say here that what documents you'll need to send. You're telling me you're getting this message. Looking at your payments and transactions will help your claim review agent understand if your details are up to date. Okay, now I'm going to break this down. It is your responsibility to inform the Department of Work and Pensions if there are any change in your circumstances. If you haven't made a change in your circumstances and it is therefore found that you have done that deliberately, then that is potentially fraudulent, right? But going through your every single transaction under the aspersion that you may be committing fraud is something, first of all, completely different. Secondly, here, the further documents that they're requesting, housing costs, earnings or other income, normal, self-employment, normal, all of this is normal, okay? All of this is normal. Now, this part here, the claim review will need to see your statements and documents without any changes or edits is also completely fine. However, you are, by the data minimisation policies of GDPR and data protection, you are allowed to redact your spending transactions. And I have spoken to the Information Commissioner's office today, and they have told me that you need to do these two things. Now, one of them I've already advised you to do, which is download my free letter. And my free letter points out to the Department of Work and Pensions the principles of data protection and GDPR, because they seem to have forgotten it. in the first instance. Now, I'm not saying do not give them your bank statements. I'm saying to you, send in the letter. Because when you send in the complaint letter, you are leaving a data trail that you did not want to give them your bank statements, and the reasons why. Because when they can see all of your transactions, they can see what is classed as particularly special category data, or category data A, which is a specialized category under data protection. Anything relating to health, sexual orientation, all sorts of things are category A data. And you have the right under data protection to block those out. Now, if you look here at their guidance, it clearly says the claim review agent will need to see your statements and documents without any changes or edits. So that would be changing the documentation. That's not necessarily covering it up. You know, covering up what you're spending is one thing. Actually changing it, so changing a digit or changing how much money you've got in your account or something like that, that is what I would understand as changing a document. And by the way, thank you everybody for buying my health journal. And guess what? I have some killer updates over in the membership about PIP and the 4-point rule, and we're going to be needing this particularly in 2026. If you don't have your copy yet, you can get it from Amazon. Everything is already printed, done for you, and it is very, very useful. It's been written in accordance to the PIP points. That's why it's called the PIP Plan, the Health Journal. Thank you for getting your copy. It supports me and it supports the Justice Journals. Now, this guidance as it stands is very, very loose. It's very, 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 very loose. And on that basis, I have forwarded this onto the Information Commissioner's office in London. And first of all, send in that letter that I have written for you. Secondly, if they still force you or they threaten to close your claim or suspend your claim, then I would suggest that you do give them the bank statements, but then you can also make a complaint to the Information Commissioners in London, and you could possibly even take legal action against the Department of Work and Pensions for forcing you to provide data that you were unhappy to provide them with. Now, before you go, well, that means I've got no rights, they're just going to have them anyway. Yes, you do have rights, so just bear with me. Now, whether or not you're being forced to provide these documents under duress isn't necessarily a point for the Information Commissioner's office. But what is that people that are vulnerable, people that have got disabilities, people that are being asked to provide documents that go back years and years and years, is an issue potentially for the Information Commissioner's office. And this is what they would look at. They would look to see, was the processing of your data of your bank statements lawful? Now, Universal Credit is assessed on a month-by-month basis. So if they're requesting documents that go back 10 years, 6 years, 5 years, 2 years, I would be challenging that, and that letter actually does that. Was it necessary and proportionate under the data minimisation rules, i.e., did you have to provide all of your transactional spending data? I would potentially argue not. Was it fair and transparent? Telling a vulnerable claimant they've only got 2 weeks to comply with providing all bank statements before Christmas in particular, or they're going to have their claim suspended or even closed, isn't really being fair. Is it being transparent? You could potentially argue no, because you've just told me I'm under a claim review. I've made no changes. There are no changes to be made. I have testified to that every single month when I, make my declaration with Universal Credit. So, no, basically. Were safeguards and alternatives considered? Absolutely not. If you're being told you've got 2 weeks to provide these statements or not, no, you're not safeguarding my category A data either. A claimant can still comply with this request, however, but later challenge the lawfulness of the processing. So in my letter, which I have updated even more, I've put in a lovely little paragraph that I was kind of suggested to me by the Information Commissioner's Office, so that's been put in there for you too. Now, lots of you are saying, can you sue the Department of Work and Pensions? And I know lots of you have been asking me about this. I mean, yes, I've sued them 3 times. It has not been easy. No, it hasn't. Would you want to sue them for this? You might want to consider it collectively. And although this is not legal advice, you might want to consider Article 82, so civil claims for data protection breaches. A person can bring a claim if they show unlawful processing, excessive data collection, damage which can be financial loss, or non-material damage, heightened stress, anxiety, depression, not being able to sleep, being late for your rent if they've suspended your money, even being made homeless, which I think is absolutely shocking in 2025. So you do have actions and avenues open to you. Don't feel that if you hand everything over, even though you don't want to, that you have no rights, because you do. Now, I've already raised my concerns with the Information Commissioner's Office regarding this, and what you can all do individually is you can contact the Information Commissioner's Office as well and raise a complaint too. So I'm going to show you how to do that because it's really simple. And obviously, the more people that complain about this, excuse me, is going to obviously indicate to the Information Commissioner's Office that there is a real problem here, because I have stated to them this morning on the phone and in my letter to them that this is affecting thousands and thousands of people, and thousands of people are very unhappy about providing this information for obvious reasons. So you can write in, you can do the live chat, you can call them. Okay, simply go to ico.org.uk, and here it's going to come under data protection complaints. You can click on there, and obviously you don't have an email address for from DWP, but you do have other information there that you can put in. So simply a screenshot of your journal or something like that where you've been requested this information. And if you said you don't want to provide the bank statements and they've then said, well, we're going to close your claim, put that in as well. And there are a number of different outcomes. So I'll tell you what the outcomes are. So they've said to me they can do one of 3 things. Number 1, it might not be something really that they need to take action on. Number 2, it is something where they can tell them they need to review their guidance or their policy or change it. And in severe circumstances where a number of people have been affected, so i.e. send in your complaints, they can even issue a fine and force them to do certain things. There we are. So you won't be awarded compensation yourself via the ICO. The ICO just look at the regulations and look at those policies, and they would fine or take action against the organisation. But independently, outside of that, if you feel that your data has been breached, you can obviously go down the civil route and sue them civilly as well. And I'm so pleased, by the way, that so many of you have found my letter really helpful. And I'm so pleased so many of you like the new way that I've done it. You've received it straight into your email box and you're all really happy about that. So that's made me happy too. So there we go. Happy days, everyone. We can, stand up to these wrongdoings, and we can have justice that is wronged done right. But yeah, don't always comply, But, you know, one good thing I will say about justice is that there's always two sides to every single law. Don't forget that. You just need to find the right one. Anyway, take care, and I will speak to you all again very shortly.